So last night, it was announced where former Oklahoma Sooners Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner would transfer, and the destination being South Carolina. A move that makes a lot of sense, but one we still need to talk about. What this means for South Carolina, what this means for Oklahoma, we're going to break it all down. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you surprised that Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner transferred to South Carolina? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed that content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions, though they may seem small, are really massive to content creators such as myself in both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all of that being said, we need to hop right into this because this is a move that makes a ton of sense, and we'll talk about it from South Carolina's perspective at first. Because South Carolina is in a position where they went 6-6 this year, not the year they would have liked to have had, but it's incredibly hard to be critical of any team when they're on their third string quarterback. Look, it's hard enough to win in college football. It's even more difficult when your starting quarterback goes down, and now add in that your second string quarterback went down as well. The South Carolina Gamecocks had to cycle between quarterbacks and try and find success with the names they had, whether it be due to injury, due to inexperience, and due to the competition they had. They just never had a clear-cut path. But Spencer Rattler answers those needs, or at least in theory he answers those needs, because he gives them an individual that will be able to compete for the starting job day one. Not only that, he has a lot of experience, really quality experience. He's played in a Big 12 championship. He's played in the Big 12. He's played in big games such as the Red River rivalry, and that's something that if you're a Gamecocks fan, you should be excited about, because that experience is going to help everybody. It was a situation to where it wasn't surprising that he chose South Carolina, and it was even less surprising to me that Austin Stogner went with him for a few simple reasons. First and foremost, both Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner came in the same recruiting class, and so when I saw them leave together, that was actually kind of cool to see that they wanted to continue playing with each other. That was kind of cool to see, and look, they've had success with one another, so why not? They have that familiarity, they've had success, and they get to continue their journey together. That's awesome. The second reason is the familiarity with Shane Beamer to both of those individuals. Shane Beamer was on the Oklahoma staff, and he was there when both of those individuals were being recruited. And especially when we look at an Austin Stogner, he was the tight ends coach, and he was the assistant head coach at Oklahoma, so he has supreme familiarity with both Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner. So when you look at it, South Carolina is getting two players in that they have got to feel very, very excited about. Austin Stogner is an incredibly talented individual who has gone through a lot in his college career, but whenever he gets the ability to really showcase what he can do, I'm really excited to see, because anybody that goes through what he has gone through and comes out with that same drive and determination, that's an individual that deserves some recognition, and Austin Stogner is absolutely one of those people. But when we look at this from Oklahoma's perspective, what does this mean for the Sooners? And the truth of it is not a whole lot, because even though you had an exodus of players putting their names into the transfer portal whenever Lincoln Riley moved from Oklahoma to USC, there's still a chance that some of those individuals decide to stay at Oklahoma. However, I don't think many Sooner fans thought that Stogner or Spencer Rattler would be among those that they could get to stay. Especially Spencer Rattler when you look at the emergence of Caleb Williams and what he's been able to do and his upside. Especially his upside, theoretically, within that Jeff Lebby offense. Something I've talked about quite frequently, that if you look at Lebby's offense at Ole Miss and conjecture with what Lane Kiffin wants to do, I would theorize that that's what's going to be brought over to Oklahoma, because it's a really exciting offense. It's a ton of fun to watch, but watch the quarterback play. A dual threat quarterback is something that Lebby loves to run. The ability to hurt you with arm and legs just opens up the game, and it makes sense that Caleb Williams would be a big part of that. Then you look at the recruiting sphere, and Oklahoma pulls in a Nick Evers yesterday, kind of signaling the double down of that stylistic quarterback choice. So when you look at it like that, I don't think many Oklahoma fans were thinking Spencer Rattler was going to stay. So the Rattler loss isn't one that Oklahoma fans will necessarily feel, in the sense that you do have Caleb Williams, but depth. Depth is something you always want at that quarterback position, and Spencer Rattler did provide you that depth. From the Austin Stogner standpoint, I talked about this the other day. He's someone, at least I feel like as an Alabama fan, I look at a player like Trey Sanders, and when I see everything that Trey Sanders has been through, and still he shows up with a determination and a drive to succeed, I root for him. I want nothing more than for that young man to succeed. And look, I feel the same about all players. But not everybody has been through what he's been through. Those individuals that have gone through these circumstances that were completely out of their control, and they come back with that same drive, those are special individuals. And so I'm sure Oklahoma fans will miss him from that perspective. But Oklahoma has also done a really solid job at the tight end position, and that recruiting looks to continue into the future. And so from that perspective, Stogner is going to be missed by the fans, but they still have plenty of options at that position. This is a move that I think makes perfect sense. Both of these individuals having that relationship with Beamer, both at Beamer's time at Oklahoma, and specifically he was working with the offense, so he's going to have that familiarity with both Spencer Rattler and Austin Stogner. It's cool to see that they're going together, and I know South Carolina fans have got to be very excited about this because they're getting in two very talented players. And when you look at South Carolina's season this year, they went 6-6, but it's very hard to be critical of any team that is cycling through quarterbacks and failing to find an answer the way South Carolina did. Spencer Rattler, in theory, gives you an opportunity to find that answer because he's somebody that will come in and compete for that starting job day one. So that right there has got to take at least some sort of worry off South Carolina fans. But I'm very interested in hearing from everybody. Oklahoma fans, let me know what you're thinking about this move. South Carolina fans, if you're new to the channel, like I said in the intro, go ahead and subscribe. But more importantly, let me know what you're thinking about this. I'm very excited to hear from your perspective, and we can have a conversation about it down below. That's it. See ya.